Hey, what's up, guys? Dre 5D here coming at you again with another Black Lightning video. Tonight is going to be the season finale of Season 1, Episode 13. Alright, let me just start off by saying that this season finale, was probably one of the most different superhero season finale shows I've ever watched, and probably one of the best. It was such a departure of what we usually see in superhero shows like this. Like most of the times in a show like this, we'll see the main protagonist go against the superhero of this show, and they have this big epic fight, goes down to the wire. Obviously, more than likely, the superhero is gonna come out on top and take down a bad guy, send him to jail, or either kill him, and everything goes back to normal for the hero. But obviously in Black Lightning, it's not a typical superhero show, and we didn't get that at all, which I am not complaining at all. I actually thought it was really, good and different, and such a different uh, way to approach a season finale superhero show. It was almost like a breath of fresh air, honestly, because it felt so different and such. Everything was pretty much wrapped up nicely in a bow, and like I said before, we didn't really get the epic showdown between Jefferson and Tobias, although we did get that last week. So I was almost half expecting them to fight again, but surprisingly they didn't, which I'm not mad about. I was just happy, we actually got the fight between those two, and tonight we actually had a different fight, pretty much. Basically, Jefferson and Anissa taking out the ASA SWAT team and everything. So that was pretty cool to see. But all in all, I thought tonight's season finale was like really good. It was, so like I said, it was really different. And I think that's a good thing moving forward with this show. All season long, they've been doing stuff out of the norm and taking different steps, and not doing the same old tropes that we've seen in superhero shows, which I think highlights this show and makes it so much better and above the typical, not only the typical CW show that we've come accustomed to watch every week, but also just other superhero shows on other platforms that also do things a little bit differently. And I think Black Lightning is definitely up there, and I'm so happy that this whole season they've gone out the norm and done something different. And I think tonight's season finale actually shows how good different can be, and you don't have to always stick to the status quo of, like, say, what the Flash and Arrow does. And hopefully, maybe Flash and Arrow and Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow can take a look at Black Lightning and see that they can do something a little bit different in their season finales, and try to go out the norm of what they usually do, which I thought tonight's episode did that in such a perfect way. It was just such a great episode. Yeah, I'm so hyped and cannot wait for what's next to come for this show and the upcoming seasons. First off, we finally found out how and why Lala came back to life. He apparently, Tobias Whale paid, I guess, $1 million for some reanimation program, and Lala has come back, and the side effects were from that procedure is him seeing all the people he's killed, and them becoming tattoos on him, aka becoming Tattoo Man. I'm not exactly sure if that's a real DC comics villain or not, but kind of sounds like it. I have to do more research to find out if it is for sure. But I'm glad that we finally got that sorted out and figured out, like, why Lala was back. Obviously, he was all just a pawn in Tobias Whale's overall plan to take out Proctor and become, the top king, as he puts it in the episode of Freeland. And as far as we know, Lala is dead. But then again, we didn't actually see him die on screen. And for most cases, on not even just superhero shows, but a lot of shows in general, if you don't really see the person die on screen, there's always a chance that the person can come back. So I'm not really sure if Lala is actually dead, but even in the show, they even mentioned that they couldn't find any evidence to show that Lala was actually dead. So maybe Lala isn't dead. Maybe him blowing himself up, or maybe he has the ability of regeneration. So maybe that can be explained of how he could have survived that, and maybe he breaks the spell of the control Tobias has over him. I can definitely see that being a possibility, but so far, what they've told us on TV. He's not dead, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he comes back next season in some capacity, maybe like 1 or 2 episodes or so, and we find out that that name that Tobias gave him, Tattooed Man, actually comes into fruition, and he becomes like sort of a mid-level villain with the powers of regeneration or something like that. So I can definitely see that happening in season 2. So one thing I just want to shout out to the writers, the creators, Akil, the showrunner of this show, like that. The scene with Jefferson and his father was such a powerful and strong, emotional scene that we got to see. I would personally say it's probably one of the best scenes that Black Lightning and even the other CW shows have had in a long while. I mean, it was just such a tearjerker to see Jefferson having that moment with his father that he never really got to have as a kid, especially seeing his father die in front of his eyes. It was so sad and heartwarming to see him, get emotional talking to his father in the afterlife, and his father, giving him his blessing, saying that, hey, I'm proud of you that what you're doing. You're actually helping people. Being Black Lightning is something that you should, always do, and I'm proud of you. It was so heartwarming to see that. It was very much needed from Jefferson because he always held a burden over his father. Seeing him die at such a young age, and for him to have that one-on-one, I think has for having that one-on-one with his father is sort of like closure for him. And I just thought it was such a well acted scene. Big props to Cress Williams and also the actor who played Jefferson's father. I didn't quite get his name, but both of them played that scene so well, and the music on top of it all. I can't remember. I don't know the name of the song, but I've definitely heard that song, a million times before. And it was just such a powerful, emotional scene that I just want to, give credit to the director, the cinematographer. The director is actually the showrunner, Akil. He directed this episode, and I just want to say that it was such a great, powerful scene, that probably one of the best scenes in the whole season of the show. It's definitely going down as one of my favorite scenes on a superhero show, and period. It was just so strong and powerful just to have that connection between a father and a son, and not only just a father and a son, but a black father and a son, because as we already seen before, we don't really have a lot of black superheroes in this show on TV, and the only other one we have is Luke Cage, and obviously, if you guys haven't seen that show or not, but he doesn't really touch upon his father, at least in the first season, and just to see, a superhero show like this, a black superhero having a moment with his father, albeit, in that almost in the afterlife. It was just such a different, strong, powerful scene to see that's never really been done before. And I just want to give huge props and shout outs to the creator of this show. That scenes like that in Black Lightning makes this show such a superb and amazing show that I just hope they never lose focus of that and always bring us more of that, because that's what makes this show so different. It's such a great show, just having scenes and like moments like that. Superhero shows don't always have to have, action after action. And I know some of the other CW shows, they do have heart to heart moments, but sometimes it can feel a little forced and, just unnecessary. But I just can't get over that scene. It's just so great and powerful, and I hope we get to see more scenes like that in the future seasons of Black Light. So we find out that Tobias has the briefcase, I guess, that has access to the pods and the other metahumans there in the facility. Definitely want to know what's going to happen with that, because I remember the Proctor was saying that only 4 made it to stage 2. We don't really know what stage 2 is, but apparently there's 4 that's in stage 2. The other ones are kind of failing. We didn't really get the idea, or they didn't suggest that Jefferson gave his blood away like the Proctor was suggesting to that guy when they were trying to let all the metahumans out. So I don't think the other metahumans in the pods are gonna make it. It seems like we're probably only gonna get introduced to maybe 4 new metahumans next season. Probably Tobias is gonna have some type of hold and control over them, and since he has the briefcase, whatever that green stuff that was shining in front of his face it definitely has something to do with the pods there, because like I said, the guy said that the briefcase is the only way to access the pods, and since Tobias Harris has it, I'm I'm 100% certain he'll find a way to get some type of control of those pods and have some type of control over the people coming out of those pods. So I definitely can't wait to look out in the summer to find out, who's been cast, who can possibly play these 4 new metahumans that's going to be coming to the show. I know in one of my earlier videos I mentioned how since Black Lightning was part of the Outsiders group, I always thought that the metahumans in those pods were gonna, transform, or not transform, but transition over to being some of the outsiders from the comic books. I still see that happening. I can definitely see how 4 of them, or a few, Tobias has control over all 4 of them, but then maybe 2 or 3 start to see that Tobias Harris isn't the most trustworthy guy, or or see through his like villainous ways and try to break free of that, and maybe try to join up with Anissa and Jefferson to create the outsiders. So I can definitely see that happening as well, but they can also always go in the direction of becoming villains as well. But hopefully we get to see them become the outsiders, because it's been teased before in the show. So I definitely see that happening, and the easiest way that can happen is from the 4 pods that are metahumans, and that Tobias will has the access to. So lastly, we got to talk about Tobias is actually still alive, which definitely different from what I thought was going to happen. I initially thought that as all most of these shows go, that the protagonists they'll fight against the superhero and then they'll either die or get locked up in the season finale. But as per usual, how Black Lightning works in this show, they do the unexpected and do what's different from what the norm, which makes the show so great. We actually have a really great villain still sticking around, most likely for most of season 2, if not longer than that. And I definitely want to see where they go with this, because like I said before, in like Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, their villains usually always either get killed off or get sent away in the season finale. Granted, they have been some some villains that get recycled or maybe come back in a certain capacity, like Deathstroke or Damien Dark, or you can just name some other ones just off the top of my head. So I definitely want to know what's going to happen with Tobias Harris. Like I mentioned before in the video, he has that briefcase that has access to the metahumans in the pod, so he's probably going to have some type of control over them, like I said before. And like he mentioned in the final seconds of the episode, he's still out for Black Lightning since he knows that he's alive. So obviously, Jefferson knows that Tobias is still alive and everything. So there's definitely going to be some interesting things happening in season 2. It's not really straightforward of where the direction season 2 is going to go for this show. It almost could felt like a series finale as well for tonight's episode, which the writers probably wrote it that way, to tie everything up, because they probably weren't sure if they were going to get a season 2 or not. So I can understand why it probably felt that way. It wasn't too much tease for season 2, but that's that's the great and that's the greatness in front of the show like this, where we can speculate and try to figure out what direction they can go in season 2, and it also leaves the door open for them as well. They're not tied to whatever idea that they thought of maybe months ago when they were writing and shooting this season finale. They can go in any direction they want to, and the ideas and everything. So I definitely cannot wait for that to happen. Hopefully, season 2 can start in the fall. We won't have to wait for January like we did this year. Although I don't want the show to go more than 13 episodes. I think 13 episodes is a really great perfect number for this, because as myself and a lot of fans complain about with Arrow and Flash and Supergirl and the other shows, they feel very long. Like the episode count for them is like 23 episodes, which is kind of a lot for that show. It's just a lot of filler episodes and a lot of unnecessary things. They don't really stretch out the arc for the story and the characters and that on those shows. And I think 13 episodes is perfect for Black Lightning. So if it does come back in the fall, like I remember Legends of Tomorrow, it premiered in January and that came back in the fall, and it ended, I think maybe March or April or so. So hopefully Black Lightning can come back in the fall and we can still have 13 episodes like we did this year, because I think 13 episodes is perfect for this show. If the pacing was really great in season one, and hopefully they can stick to that. So if the show does get renewed for more episodes, I kind of do have faith in the writers that they wouldn't fall to the trap of Arrow and Flash, and then what they do with their stories for the 22, 23 episodes. So if Black Lightning does get an extended back order 9 episodes, I wouldn't be mad about it. Because like I said, I do have faith in Akil, the developer, the showrunner of the show, to make sure that the show doesn't fall victim to having a lot of filler episodes and just dragging on stories like the other CW shows tend to do. So if it does get 22, I'm all for it. But if it doesn't, I'm still happy with 13 episodes for them, which I think is perfect for them. All right, so I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching my video, and if any of you guys are regulars, I want to say especially thank you for the regular people who've been watching my videos all season long since January. Every video that I've done for the whole season, I just want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I'm kind of sad, guys. We won't find out, when the show is going to return for either for the fall or for January until probably May when the CW upfronts happen. But whenever the show returns, you'll definitely see me back again doing more Black Lightning videos, and I'll also, try to make some videos in the summer whenever there's news coming out, new casting for the season and everything. So I'll definitely still be, making videos over the summer or until the show comes back with any new news that's going to come out for it. So until then, guys, until season 2, until the summer, I'll see you guys later. And especially, again, thank you so much for watching my videos and supporting me. And if you like what you see, make sure you like and subscribe, because like I said, I will definitely be back next year. So until then, guys, see you later.